Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hey, unicorns! How you doing? I'm thrilled for today's episode. We only have 2 episodes left of this, what should we call it? The sexual metaphor series, the erotic metaphor series. I don't even know. But yeah, we have today and we have one more episode that's going to be coming out as well. Again, another sexual metaphorical episode, and so freaking good. Also, how about last week's guest, Angel Flores from Queer Eye? Oh my God. She was such a pleasure to interview and to have on the show, and amazing. And I've got many, well, not many. Hey, they're coming. I just don't know about them yet. But I have several other guests lined up for the next month or two. And well, yeah, it'll be out over the next 2 months probably, that you'll get to hear from them. And y'all, just the most amazing conversations. So you really are like on the best fucking podcast on the internet. I'm not sorry. That is the truth. This is the place where it's all happening. So a reminder then, and an ask, if you haven't invited someone recently to the podcast, what the fuck are you doing? Go invite them, because this is where it's happening. We need to get this information. We need to get these truths, these empowering mindsets into the ears of more queer people. So help me do that. Share today's episode or your favorite episode, whatever it's been, with a friend. I have to say, I think the kink episode was my favorite, although today is going to be pretty fucking fantastic too. So yeah, let's dive into it. Let's talk about BDSM, right? So before we go into how we're going to use this, I do want to explain just what is the acronym BDSM, and it's really BDSM. You'll see why. So BDSM stands for bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism. Bondage is all about restraint, right? Discipline and dominance are about controlling. Submission is about giving up control. Sadism is about inflicting pain, and masochism is about receiving pain. So all in all, BDSM is all about power and sensation, right? It is a power play, a power dynamic between individuals. Someone being in charge, someone submitting to their control. Someone receiving pain, someone inflicting pain or pleasure, right? All of this is about playing with the yin and the yang, the yes and the no, the extremes, the black and white, right? And what a beautiful metaphor, even just for all of life, that all of our life is filled with dichotomy. It is filled with contradiction. It is filled with extremes. We love extremes as humans. We really do. No matter how much we're like, oh my God, I hate all the pain and suffering in the world. Bitch, if you had no pain and suffering in the world, you would never appreciate the joy and the healing. There wouldn't even be anything to heal. There wouldn't even be anything worth celebrating. If you've watched that show, The Good Place, this is going to be a spoiler, so like fast forward 30 seconds if you haven't seen it, or if you don't care, just keep listening. But there is a part when they get to the actual good place and it's boring. No one wants to be in heaven because nothing interesting ever happens. It's just the same routine, boring. You can have whatever you want, whenever you want it. everything is pleasurable, everything is easy, and it goes on forever. There's no end in sight. And with that framework, all the people that were there were like, I don't want to be in this good place anymore. I want to get out. Like, I would give anything to have a little pain. I would give anything to have a little resistance. I would give anything to even just permanently die and be done with this. I want you to think about how true that is in our life here, right now, today on earth, that without the pain that we experience, there would be no pleasure. You don't want pleasure all the time. You don't want to just feel good. You like to feel like shit sometimes. You do. And you get off on it. We all do. And I've been thinking about how our community, how the LGBTQIA plus community is very attached to suffering. Have you ever thought about that? Like, we love to party too, right? We love to have joy. You know, what is June? It's Pride Month. We're all about pride and being ourselves and loving who we really are authentically. And we also love to tell a sob story. We love to tell how the world is against us and how we are struggling and how we are unwanted and undesired and condemned and hated on. Like, we get off on it. Subconsciously, we are fucking obsessed. Like, tickled. Like, turned on. It's orgasmic for your subconscious to be struggling. And with that, think about the struggle. Think about what you get out of it. What is it? How do you benefit from being in a struggle position, from being oppressed, from taking this BDSM mindset, this power play, and the world, all the straight people especially, are up there and powerful, and you are down here and without power. Now, BDSM is fun in the bedroom. It is fun to play with consensually. But when you forget that you have the option, that's when it becomes not fun, right? Like, let's just, paint in your mind a picture of a BDSM encounter and maybe being tied up and restrained and maybe even spanked, okay? Let's just take that little image. And you have to submit to whatever the other person is demanding of you, okay? Now, if this is a BDSM agreed upon consensual experience, that's hot. That's fun. That's cool. That's yes. Yes. Cheer it on. All the things. Give it to me. But think about those same things, tied up, spanked, and like having to submit to somebody else's commands without it being consensual. Now we're talking about rape. So consider for a moment how the biggest difference between what is like hell yes, amazing, hot and sexy versus that is terrible and evil is consent. Consent to a game. The difference between play and rape is that both parties are consenting. And now think about this in life. Most of the time you walk around thinking that you haven't consented. And yes, there are going to be times, yes, that you haven't consented to be treated like shit. Sure, in some ways. But I just want to stretch you here for a moment. Consider this with me. What if your spirit chose on purpose to come and have this experience? What if your spirit chose on purpose to be born in the place and time that you were born, to be in the family that you are, to be brought up with the past that you were, and to interact with the humans that you do on purpose in order to have a BDSM fucking experience of life where you experience the power, your power and others' power over you, where you experience the pain inflicted on you and that you inflict on others. What do you notice if you actually consider that all of this life is maybe technically optional? If that's true, then maybe you are consenting to being looked down upon by society. Maybe you actually are consenting to be treated like shit by jerks. Maybe you actually have signed up in a way, in a spiritual way, to have a rough, painful time of it. Maybe the world's not raping you. Maybe it's a consensual BDSM experience, a game you have been playing since birth, and you just forgot that it's a game. And you've forgotten that we're all playing the game. And you've forgotten that there are safe words in the game. And that it is simply a game. What would that change for you? How might you start speaking up differently in your relationships with strangers that you meet? What becomes more important to you? And what becomes less important to you? How might this change the path of your career? How might this change the way you speak up in the bedroom? Because whether or not you are having an agreed upon BDSM experience with someone or not, remember, you are always playing a fucking game. Your spirit is here playing the BDSM game with everyone. So even if you haven't had an agreed upon consensual, hey, we're going to do this, like there's the unspoken game all the time of, am I allowed to ask for what I want or am I not allowed to ask for what I want? Should I speak up for what I want or should I not speak up for what I want? If I do speak up for what I want, am I going to be shamed? And then if I'm shamed by the other person, is what's going on inside of me, the shame that I have around myself and the way that I truly at my core hate myself and don't want to be reminded of by another person, is that then going to come to the light? And then am I going to be stuck in this pain of hating myself to my core? You like the pain and you like the resistance of it. We all do. We all do. And what I want to invite you to do now is to consciously wake up to that fact that you are playing a game. If you were in the bedroom and there isn't a BDSM experience, but it just, whatever you're doing in there, and you want something, you have a certain desire, and you're not speaking up about it, where are you creating a power dynamic already in your head? Who has the power? Who's dominant and who's submissive now? And how are you inflicting pain or receiving pain? You're kind of inflicting pain on your subconscious, saying that desire you have is not worthy. It's not okay. It's wrong and it's shameful. You're inflicting pain on yourself before even speaking up. And then you're receiving pain from the other person because in your mind you've created this story that they're going to shame you for it. And they haven't said anything yet. You don't even know. Take that into life. Let's take losing your job, for example. You had an agreed upon power structure with your boss, your supervisor, the company that you work for, right? You gave them a certain sense of power, a certain position of power, rather, in your life. You were like, hey, I want to be able to pay. I want these things in my life. I want a house. I want a phone. I want heating and air conditioning. I want food. In order to have those things, I need a paycheck. Okay, great. Well, to go get a paycheck, I'm going to go get hired by this company. Great. Okay, now I'm going to now give this power for my wants and desires to my boss and say, hey, in order for me to have what I want, a cell phone, heating and air conditioning, shelter, food. I said that in like the opposite order of importance. But you get it. Food, shelter, communication, place to throw a party. I don't know. You now have said, hey, you, ma'am, you, sir, are in charge of paying me so that I can have what I want. And you've played this little power dynamic game in your head. And most of the most people have forgotten that they're playing that game. And what I noticed when the pandemic hit was a lot of people were really upset that they lost their jobs and felt owed it by their employer. And being an entrepreneur for several years, I didn't have that kind of mindset. I wasn't in that headspace. And I was sort of confused when I saw people so like mad at companies for letting them go. And I thought, oh, I just have a different set of beliefs because I've had a totally different experience being my own boss for so long and in charge of my own finances for so long that I am consciously aware that I am always in charge of my finances. Most people are not. They give up that control. They play the game where they give up the control for their finances to their boss. Is their boss actually ever in control? No. Fuck no. Who's always in control of us? Ourselves, right? So think about the ways that you've been playing this BDSM game with your life. It doesn't have to just be in the bedroom, y'all. We are BDSMing it up all the fucking time. You do it with your work. You do it with your relationships. You do it with your career. Wait, that's the same as work. You do it with your finances. You do it with your activities. You do it anytime there's another human in the room. Anytime there's another human involved in your story, you are always playing with that. Even when it's you against the world, you are playing with power dynamics and sensation, pain and pleasure, sensation dynamics. We are always doing this all of the time. And it's not a problem. It's a beautiful thing. This, again, is what your spirit came to this world to do. It really is. You came here to sense. You came here to play with power. You came here for a BDSM experience of life. So don't forget it. The moment you forget it, then it becomes actually painful and horrible to you. When you remember it, it can all be pleasure. Even the pain, even the disappointment of being broken up with can be pleasurable. There's a power dynamic at play there. You can ask yourself, where did you give up power to the other person that maybe you don't want to give your power to? And where did you keep power from them where maybe next time you want to be more in the receiving role, more in your feminine energy, giving up the power to them? How do you learn from that breakup about power dynamics, about what comes easily and naturally to you and where you want to stretch and grow? Where do you want to be in charge? Where do you want to be submissive? And sensation. How does it feel in your body to be broken up with? Oh, it feels like fucking pain. Like horrible, horrible pain. And pain when you really actually take a moment to pause and think about pain, those electrical pulses of tingly sensations throughout your body, and then you remember also what it is like to be in love and feel those tingly pulses of electricity throughout your body. What's the difference between love and heartbreak? They're both extreme feelings. Pleasure and pain may be opposites, but they are also exactly the same. They are extreme sensations throughout our whole being. And you love to feel. And that, my friend, is what I believe is true of our whole community when we talk about suffering, why we like to suffer. I really think that as queer people, we are woken up, y'all, beyond the queers. We are woken up beyond hetero, straight, normative people that don't recognize themselves as queer, as part of the queer spectrum. Because we are like, hey, I am outside and above these labels. You're no longer stuck in it, my friend. You are welcome to recognize the game that you have played and that you've been playing. And to go back to what I was saying and lost track of 5 seconds ago, was just that we love to feel the extremes. We, like, our spirits are here, like, supercharged. We're just obsessed with feeling to the extreme, aren't we? I mean, think about our community as a whole. We have a lot of highs and a lot of lows. We are known for having a high rate of drug and alcohol abuse. We are known for having a high rate of suicide. We have a story that we like to tell of being very oppressed. We love the pain. We love it. We seek it out. And we also love the pleasure. And actually, I meant to put, like, drug and alcohol abuse really, I think, is a chase after the pleasure, right? The pleasure we seek. Oh my God, our community is obsessed with pleasure through drug and alcohol abuse, through sex, through partying, through celebration. I'm not saying this is bad, right? Like, we have fucking parades every year on celebrations of queerness. I mean, Pride is awesome. We love the extremes. And so what I want to suggest to you in conclusion today is to stop lying to yourself. To wake up and remember you are indeed playing a game, and that as a queer human, you are more prepared and more in love with the extremes of sensation. What a gift. What a gift. So, have at it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the pain. Enjoy the pleasure. Enjoy being powerful. Enjoy submitting. Enjoy the spectrum. And know that it is perfect, that you are perfect. Your desires are perfectly worth speaking up for. And so either speak up for them or get off on the pleasure, or the pain rather, of not speaking up for yourself. You are a kinky motherfucker, my friend. Keep playing this BDSM game of life. Let's do it, huh? All right. Before we totally conclude, I have got to share with you one of the amazing reviews. One of my clients left this comment on my Instagram today, and I just have to share it. So shout out to Brian Granger, Live More Life Coaching on Instagram. Go give him a follow. He said, when I started working with Alex, I couldn't even let myself dream of having what I wanted. There was so much fear and shame. I'd learned to believe that my desires were wrong. Since working with Alex, I've built the confidence to not only ask for what I want, but to get it and love it. Oh my God. Brian, thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful comment. I just really love to share these things with you all because I want you to know what's possible. I'm telling you, these things that you're imagining are out there and possible for other people, and that you're too insecure and not available for it, blah, 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 whatever shit story you're telling yourself. It's simply not true, my friend. You are 100% capable. You're a goddamn unicorn. You are a queer spirit. You can have it all. So come work with me. I would love to help you out of this stupid story that you keep telling yourself, that I told myself forever too, and still do sometimes. I'm still fucking human. Let's wake up to this BDSM experience that you've been having throughout your life and recognize again that you have the power and that you are playing a game which gives you ultimate power over the whole thing. You can still experience pain and pleasure, dominance and submission, and enjoy it knowing that you are choosing it. So freaking powerful. And if you missed last week's event, this Valentine's event, Confident as Fuck, it was absolutely incredible. So many breakthroughs. So the replay is available for purchase. You're going to get the questions, like the worksheet, and be able to work through all of it with the replay. So if you didn't make it live, it's okay. Go get this. And through the Confident as Fuck little mini class, you are going to have the confidence to speak up for yourself and for what you want in the bedroom, in dating, in any relationship, particularly if it's romantic. All right, my friends, have a freaking fantastic week, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to coachalexray.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.